Hi, I'm Camilla Richter, co-creator of the Digital Transformation Roadmap, a series designed to equip CXOs for their self-directed DX journey. With me today is Tory Bjorklund, founder and CEO of Victorified. Hi, Tory.
Hi, Camilla. Good to see you again.
Yeah, glad to have you on again. In our latest chapter, chapter 9 of the DX Roadmap series, we explore the intricacies of managing organizational change with a focus on integrating new technology and encouraging team collaboration. The chapter follows our project manager, Jared, as he speaks with solution architect and OCM lead about two different risks that have arisen. First off, the lack of involvement from the production team in design sessions, and the growing resistance to technology adoption from the warehousing team. Jared documents the risks, he works with his team members to formulate a plan, and successfully confronts a somewhat challenging business process owner. So, with all that being said, what are some common challenges faced by companies when integrating new technology, and how can these be addressed to ensure a smooth transition?
Yeah, really, most of the challenges don't really center on technology. Most of them are commonly center around the process changes that occur and how
Mhm.
people do their job. And I believe these challenges are best addressed by helping people understand the reason for the changes and especially to make sure they have enough training to be comfortable doing their job with the new processes. So, a lot of the fear comes from them having known how to do their job before and succeeding at that, and now we're changing things. Are they going to be successful?
Mhm. Yeah, very good. I feel like it's very change can be very personal and
Right,
also very intimidating, I think, for people, especially if it's, a process that maybe they've done for the same way for quite a long time.
right.
So in your experience, how does effective communication and change management contribute to the success of digital transformations?
Well, the first thing to remember is all effective communication starts with listening. Many
Mhm.
people are adverse to change, and this aversion really it just gets amplified if they don't feel like they've been heard, or even more importantly, that they've been given an opportunity for their concerns to be heard. And
Hmm.
even if those concerns are not addressed to their satisfaction, they feel a lot better if they feel like people understand what they're worried about.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. Starting with active listening.
Right.
So, how important is it to gain multiple perspectives in order to build a well-rounded and effective solution in these design sessions?
Yeah. In reality, kind of depends. I mean, you want it well-rounded, right? But
Hmm.
who you involve and how many you involve depends a lot on what process we're talking about and whether or not those perspectives are um, yeah, how much experience the perspectives have, the expertise
Right.
they have in that particular field or around that particular process or whatever. So when we're talking about process design, you don't want to have too many people in the room, but it doesn't work well, like in this example of the story, to have just one person in the room, and especially
Mhm.
the one person who doesn't actually do the job.
Right.
Often, if you have one person in the room, it's going to be a manager, somebody who knows how the job is supposed to go,
Hmm.
but they don't often know the complexities of of the little ins and outs of the process and how to get that done. So it kind of depends on the complexity and the experience of the people in the room, but certainly more than one person. And I would say, no more than six in the room. Otherwise, you're just going to get competing opinions.
Right. Right. So the OCM lead in our series, her name is Erin, she raises a concern that the changes will have a broader impact than originally anticipated, especially within the warehousing team. what are the dangers of underestimating the area or depth of impact in a digital transformation? And do you have a specific example that you can share about that?
Yeah, so it's virtually unlimited, the dangers. I mean, it depends on a lot of things.
Mm,
And so if you think about, for example, the depth. Well, how far off were you? If you
mm,
think something is 5 feet and you can touch the bottom and it's several hundred feet, I mean, that's a big difference. So it kind of
right.
depends how far you missed reality. Um, but it's a virtually unknown downside then if you don't know what the depth and the impact is going to be. So
Mm,
that's an important aspect there, is just making sure, even if it's a little greater than you thought, it's that unintended blowback that you had no idea it was going to affect this department or these people in a certain way. Those are
right.
the most significant. But I'll give you an example. We were implementing uh, a new engineering package, a new engineering application. And one of the things is traditional engineering, when it was doing two-dimensional 2D engineering, what would happen is your engineers would draw a particular view, and then they would start, and then of course you had to manufacture that, so they would start breaking it apart into the pieces that they want to have manufactured, and then those pieces would get dropped to a junior engineer, or a drafter, often called, who would
Mhm.
then detail out the parts based on the information given to them by the engineer. Well, what
Okay.
happens is when you start developing your designs in 3D, a lot of that information is now being captured by the engineers, and you don't need detailers. And what happened is, in this example, had a client that was going from a 2D environment to a 3D environment, and that really the drafters were concerned because they had no idea what their role was going to be, and nobody
Mm,
had talked to them about it. And so they thought, man, if we're no longer going to be detailing parts, which to them meant creating a separate drawing, dropping it off, handing it off to them, and having them work on certain aspects of it,
mhm.
then they weren't going to have a job. They really thought they were
Wow.
going to lose their jobs in this process, and nobody had really talked about what their role was going to be, what it was going to look like.
Mm,
They in fact had a role, and in fact, the engineers were able to work on and focus a lot more on areas that were quality related and things like that, and manufacturing related. And the detailers could actually, or the drafters could actually, do more of what they were doing before, but in the actual model that the engineers created. So they didn't lose their job, and it actually
mhm.
made the outcome a lot better. But there was certainly a lot of fear, uncertainty, and dread, because nobody really imagined or talked about what that impact was going to be downstream.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fascinating. And that goes right back to what you were talking about, effective communication and, preparing people for the change and making sure that their concerns are really heard and working through those.
Right.
So, well, thank you so much for your time, sharing your time and your expertise. If
Yeah,
anyone
absolutely.
listening, if you want to read the latest chapter in our scenario-based series on digital transformation, just click the link in the description below, subscribe on LinkedIn, and you won't miss a single chapter. And if you enjoyed this conversation and are interested in the intersection between business and technology, just make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you again next time. Thanks, Tori.
You bet, Camilla. Talk to you later.